All right, it says I'm live, and it is showing my microphone working on my little green dots.
I hear you perfectly.
Okay. Um,
No,
as far as like having the mic close or far, that's like it's about good right there.
yeah. So you didn't sound horrible earlier. What clipping is when you're a little bit too loud and it makes your speaker distort. They call that clipping.
Gotcha, gotcha.
And you kept pulling the mic closer to you because you wanted to be loud enough, but being that that's a condenser mic, it already picks up really well, so you don't have to have it right up next to your face.
I'm just going to change the title.
The distance your mic is at, though, is not bad at all. I can
Oh,
hear you really well.
details customization. That's where. Yeah. Okay. Great. So customization, public, right?
Yep.
Why am I not seeing it? Anyone? Subscribers?
You want to just go to details and then
Oh, here we go.
visibility.
Public.
Go to, there you go. It's still private. You have to click done. There you go.
All right, beautiful. Hey, dude, appreciate it.
No problem, man. Have you?
All right, boys, we're back. Eric to the rescue once again. He's like, dude, I don't know. I don't know how I got all lucky and freaking found him, but I found him. Eric for the fucking win. And then the chat was getting awesome too. There was all sorts of good shit you guys were talking about. So what were you talking about, Paku? Also, Eric, sorry, I didn't mean to hang up on you like that. That was rude. I hit the hang up too fast. The next fight for Gaethje and Lopez. Oh, the next fight for Gaethje. Man, how about the trilogy with Dustin? Right? Oof, I don't know, but Dustin's coming off that huge win. No. Oh no, and what am I talking about? He's set to fight Islam, right? Also, that Bo Nickel call out was perfect. Fluffy Hernandez, how I mean, that's a perfect call out. Bo Nichols he's in a tough place because everyone's he has such high expectations, and you know he goes out there. He has 5 fights. He's fighting a guy with 15 fights. He finishes him in the second round, dominates him the entire fight, and people are like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know if that was good enough." Like, what do you want this guy to do? You know, it's like they want to just throw him in the deep end and hope he can swim. That's not how it works. I mean, he's a decorated collegiate athlete. He's not an MMA fighter. He is now. He has 5 fights, but I think Bo is progressing as well as can be expected, and he is absolutely on track to be a champion. He definitely needs to work on his striking. You know, this was that Cody Brundage fight was like the perfect little step up for him. Now, Fluffy Hernandez is a real test. Fluffy is a motherfucker. He is a real MMA fighter. If Bo can go out there and win, like any means necessary, he's got to watch though. Like when he shoots, like he's got to watch those knees. Have I heard about Gaethje having problems with CTE? He certainly looks like he's got CTE. Like I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to be rude, but man, dude, his eyes goes one way, he talks a little funny. Paku said Fluffy is too much for him too quick. That could be, but other than hardcore fans, no one knows who Fluffy Hernandez is. People will be upset that he's not fighting Khamzat yet. That's all they want. They just want to hear that Bo Nickel is scheduled to fight Khamzat or freaking Rachmanov or somebody. Leon Edwards, you know, like the dude's got 5 fights. Let him learn. Rodolfo Vieira. Bro, I like the way you think. Now that's I don't know. I might like him more against Fluff. I like Bo Nickel's chance. Fluffy's got a nice ground game though, and his stand up is nasty. Now Rodolfo is just all on the ground. So yeah, give him Rodolfo and then force him to knock him. You know, he like force him, not force him, but give him Rodolfo and then let's have him knock him out. You know what I mean? I like that. Yeah, he looks like he's been hit in the face a few too many times. Statistically, Holloway has been hit in the face more than anyone in the UFC. He has the most significant strikes absorbed and the most significant strikes landed, and he's only 32 years old. We've been watching Max since he was 20. He said in the press conference, dude, he is like, he's so funny. I would love to hang out with Max Holloway. But he's like, man, I can't do a Hawaiian accent, but he's like, man, Justin hits so hard that he would miss and the wind would hurt me. Like, what? Then he was saying, he's like, you guys been watching me fight since I was 20. You think I'm as old as Daniel Cormier out here? I really thought he was going to call out a heavyweight because that on his like in the past whenever he wins big, he calls out DC. Holloway doesn't get hit clean a lot. He rolls with shots and they're glancing. 100%. That's what people don't understand. But he got hit square a few times by Justin. He got hit with punches last night that would knock out the average man. 100%. And just took him. And those leg kicks, he was taking those leg kicks like, I don't know if you guys seen, but the MMA Jackal had a pre-fight breakdown he did of that fight, and I actually mentioned that Holloway is like notorious for not checking leg kicks and just absorbing them, but not being phased by it. And they said he was walking around last night after the fight behind the backstage, and Dana White said it looked like he had a fucking alien growing out of his leg. I wish the next step here is Eric's going to teach me how to edit, and I'm going to start making videos and like break down the jiu-jitsu part of it. At least I'll start with the jiu-jitsu. That's why I want to start getting better. With like the boxing, the striking end of it, because I specifically talked about a specific transition that I thought Aljo was going to use, and it was used like 4 different times last night. And Wei Lee actually had like the best example of it, like the cleanest looking example, but Diego Lopez did it. And who else? There was one other fighter who did it too, but Wei Lee did it like perfectly. Transitioned from the back. She turned the seat belt into a head and arm triangle and nearly finished the fight with it. It is an awesome transition that I love doing it. It's one of those jujitsu moves that aren't like body type. Um, it doesn't matter like what body type you have, it works for everybody. Holloway doesn't. Oh, I already read that. Yeah, his chin is made of titanium. Oh, my boxing class is this upcoming Thursday, so that should be cool. It's in my old neighborhood, and I'm going there with my the guy I work with. Actually, is a boxer, so I'm going with him. I actually talked him into taking a jujitsu class a few years ago, but um, I was talking to him for months. Like, come on, you gotta try, you gotta try it. Well, he finally shows up, and I was sick that day. He was like the one Wednesday I missed. How about Hanato Moicano, dude? The best part of a Moicano fight is him on the microphone afterwards. That dude is awesome. Chins of all time. Well, two of the top five right off the bat are both Hawaiian. I don't know if it's that not Polynesian. What are those people from Hawaii called? But BJ Penn and Max Holloway, they got to be. I mean, who else would I put in there? All right, I got BJ Penn and Max. What's yours, Paku? Right now we're talking about. Is it Polynesian? No, yeah, Polynesian are you guys, right? Isn't aren't the guys in Hawaii different? I'm showing my ignorance here. Andrew, we are talking about the most granite chins in MMA. Oh, they are Polynesian. See, I knew that. I have BJ Penn and Max Holloway as two of my five. So who else? Armin's got a rock head. That's for sure. Who else is notorious for just Chuck Liddell had a good chin until he didn't. You know? Then it was like he just got to a certain point where you could knock him out with a strong gust of wind. Mark Hunt, Max. I mean, BJ Penn is certainly on that list. Let me look at my guys. Justin's got a hell of a chin. Whoa, sorry about that. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I turned around and like my thing didn't auto adjust yet, so now I'm all super bright. Whitaker Cowboy, yes, for sure. Romero, these are all good ones. Also, I have to admit that Yan Xiaonan and Wei Li was an enjoyable fight to watch last night. It was high level MMA. They were going at it the whole fight, high level transitions, high level striking, grappling. It was enjoyable to watch start to finish. Also, Wei Li choked that bitch out. She was completely unconscious. And typically Herzog is a good ref, you know? I didn't. I just ended the stream and restarted it. You know, we went through. Eric got on here and started working his magic, and there wasn't anything like popping out, so we just restarted the stream. Nah, the Kayla Harrison fight was not a. I wouldn't call that a good fight. I mean, it was. I was more excited for it because she's such a high level judoka making her UFC debut, but she just ragdolled that bitch. My wife was like, that was the only fight she watched all night last night. She's like, I don't know nothing about this fighting, but that muscular girl is going to beat the crap out of that other girl. I'm like, yeah, well, a pretty sharp take. No, I'm not a fan of women's MMA in general. However, that fight last night where Wei Lee was fighting a clone of herself. Thank God they were in different colored uniforms. If they were in the if they were both wearing the same color shorts and sports bra, you wouldn't have been able to tell who was who. You're going to watch the Wei Lee fight again? I mean, that might be the only fight. Well, no. You got to give it to Wei Lee. The the only two women's fights I would ever consider rewatching were her against Joanna Joan Jacek and then last night against Jan. But Jan was unconscious. She wasn't almost going out. They let someone get strangled unconscious, get her bearings back, and then go back out there. That would be such, if it wasn't on UFC 300, that would be such a big deal. Such a big deal. I mean, she went out, she was out. She woke up, she's all looking weird, staring around. You can see it in her eyes when she realized, when she came back too. And she was like, oh my God, Jason Herzog's trying to help her up. And then he realized, oh no, I shouldn't be helping her up. Usually he doesn't make mistakes like that. And I'm pretty sure Jason Herzog trains himself. That was, but the pressure of being a ref, I would not want to be a referee, especially for high level fights like that, like on that stage. But Herzog dropped the fucking ball. That fight should have been ended right then and there. I literally said the same. He said that was hardly women's MMA. Let's be honest. Kayla has more testosterone than most of us here. I literally said that exact same thing last night. I'm like, bro, you know Kayla has a bigger set of balls than both of us sitting in this living room right now. Dude, her back, Joe was like, look at her back. Look, you cannot, how, I was just going to say, how did she pass USADA or get in there? But USADA's gone now. So now it's, we have TRT Kayla. I knew that he fought or something. He was actually the first ref. Like he ref the first UFC. But I knew that he competed. I know Herb Dean competed. I don't know if he ever fought in the UFC, but Herb Dean has mixed martial arts fights. Did John McCarthy ever fight in the UFC? I know he was a cop. Dude looks like a cop. Said she puts the he and she. She does, dude. Here's a good question. Do you think the Bobby Green murder scene affected Jalen's willingness to chase and pound out Moicano? No. I think the $300,000 bonus made Jalen want to get a walk-off KO rather than just win the fight. Because I know we were arguing about this before where I said I don't think that guys are going to necessarily fight harder, but it certainly affected the fight. I think Jalen he was trying to get that bonus and walk off, and then didn't work out good for him. That's another, like the whole Moicano thing, the way he hit it on the mic afterwards. Everyone loves the dude. He learned how to speak English on Call of Duty, so he swears like it's just part of his regular speech. It is part of his regular speech, but I mean, how can you not love the guy? And for him to come back from the brink of defeat to win the fight is a story that's just going to get lost in the, lost in the mix. I just tried to move my mouse cursor with my can of Zyn. Eric said he's not a super nice guy. That's not true. He's a nice feller. Realistically, that money can make people hungry, especially with UFC fighters being underpaid. 300,000 can be life-changing for 100%. But I didn't think it would affect the outcome of fights be in the sense like it's how can I explain this? Like, for one, your opponent isn't going to be any easier to put away than he would be if you weren't getting paid. Also, he's going to be wanting to get that $300,000 bonus too. So it's I don't know. It's a point that I think I'm wrong on. I think Paku's right. I think it does absolutely make a difference. I'll be honest. I can't even argue it. It certainly does make a difference. Yeah. Moicano's all about that money, bro. Calling out his YouTube channel. That's awesome. And it is a great YouTube channel too. It's him and Gilbert Burns and this other dude who's like a MMA sports bettor. And I guess last week on the fight night card, he put $1,000 on some parlay and won 46 grand. He said, I think it comes down to who's hungry. Yeah. Like situation dependent, like there's like in a wrestling scramble, there comes a point where you're scrambling with someone who is just as good as you, and it's like you can feel your opponent's will to continue the scramble breaking, or you just put it in your mind that like no matter what, I'm going to win this scramble. And then you can also put it in your mind that like, you know what, I'm going to give him this because I know I can get out of it. And you feel yourself like your mind allows you to lose the scramble. And that's like who's hungrier. You know what I mean? Like your will to win. And then those little micro battles add up to the end of the fight. But at this level, like Cody Brundage could have had, his life depending on that fight last night. And 9 times out of 10, he's getting beat the fuck down by Bo Nickel. Like your hunger and your determination can only get you so far. Where it really counts is in the preparation for the fight. That's where you really got to be hungry. You got to be hungry so you wake up and do your road work at 4 a.m. before you go to your first practice, before you eat breakfast and then go to your second practice and then do your whole routine after that. Similar to the Hooker fight, he was winning convincingly until the second round. Jalen always finds a way to lose fights. He does, dude. I think he needs to mature in his fight awareness. Yeah, his His fight IQ certainly needs to mature. He's probably immature in general. He's a young guy. That's the other thing. These guys are, like 25 years old. They're, before 25, you're just a kid, you know? Like John Jones. He was on top of the world at 21. I think that like there's a perfect mix there with Jones. Like I think there's a little bit of genetic, like he's a genetic asshole. Like it just runs in his family because I know his brothers are known to be, you know, terrible decision makers. I think he's got a little CTE, and I think there's a little bit of he was on top of the world at 21 years old. He was the champion. No one could tell him no, and he just turned into an asshole. Well, we did have a full blown discussion about blue cheese here a minute ago, Brandy. Speaking of food, my wife made a chicken and gravy today, like a crock pot dish. It was fucking bomb with biscuits and rice. It was really good. What did everyone have for dinner today? That's what I want to know. I ask my partner at work every day what he had for dinner. I started in high school. I had a music teacher in high school, and every day we would ask each other what we had for dinner last night. I just like to know what people had. Eric's going to get some coffee. Cash money doesn't talk, but money does talk. Damn right, Andrew. Also, he deserves to lose fucking weight, bully. Bro, he's an inch shorter than Poetan, and he fights at 155. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. He's an inch shorter than a guy who's trying to go up to heavyweight. What'd you have for dinner yesterday, Paku? I know right now it's probably like, I don't even know what fucking time it is for you. It's probably breakfast. It's 1 o'clock in the morning for me. Brandy, you had a salad, chocolate, and wine. I have a feeling that Eric had more than a salad. Poetan is 6'7". No, he's 6'4". I'm pretty sure. No, that's all, Eric. That's all you had was a salad. You didn't have any meat. A grown boy needs his meat. Paku said it's 2 p.m. All right, so you're 13 hours ahead. I can remember that from now on. Eggs, more eggs. You eat a dozen eggs a day? Holy shit. I love eggs too. I make the Gordon Ramsay fucking scrambled eggs where you cook it on low heat and constantly fucking stir it, and they're like creamy scrambled eggs. I eat that like twice a week. I'll do 5 or 6, and I'll put them on one English muffin. And then I like to, Tops is a local grocery store here, and they sell prime rib burger patties. I'll throw 2 of those on the grill, do those up real quick, do my eggs, quick little dinner. The wife doesn't have to cook. Andrew said, start with cheese and crackers and fish on another, and some squash soup. Then we had ribs with meatballs and salad. Andrew went fucking hard in the paint for Sunday dinner, bro. Holy shit. Eric said, I'm trying to get lean again. His lean weight is 45 and 55. If I'm putting on size, I get up to 215. But my shoulders don't like heavy lifting anymore. Bro, my shoulders are like I can't even do flat bench. If I bench, I have to do incline. Not that I lift that much. I don't lift weights that much. I should. I only have so much time to train, and I'd rather have like do jujitsu or boxing rather than lift weights. But I mean, I got to make more time. In all honesty, I probably should be like 20 pounds lighter than I am, but I got down to 185 for a jiu-jitsu tournament, and I felt light, like I got pushed off the dude a couple times. So now I use that as an excuse on why I carry around an extra 20. When I'm lifting for size, my flat bench is around 440. I've never, Andrew said, what's flatbread? I don't know like what my max bench is. I don't know what my max anything is. Look on Instagram. Fury is 6'9". You can't tell me that Alex is 6'4". I'll have to go check it out. But usually when they do the stats, they like overdo it. Like high school football. And everyone adds that couple extra pounds. Their defensive linemen, a couple inches. They had them both listed. I just know from the watching the tail of the tape yesterday, they had them both listed at 6'4". Andrew said, I'm trying to lose weight and I don't go to the gym. Well, honestly, even if you did go to the gym, when it comes to losing weight, it's like fucking 90% diet. Like I can work out like an animal, a fucking animal, like training camp workout 6 times a week, 7 times a week, fucking go crazy. And if I'm not good with my diet, I won't lose weight. When he's lean, his flat bench is 300. You get down to 145. Aren't you really tall, Eric? Andrew said he drinks black coffee. You're a fucking man. That's what men do. I try to be a man and drink black coffee for like, I don't know. I did it for like 2 weeks and I was like lying to myself. I'm like, this ain't so bad. I could drink black coffee. I fucking hated it. And I'm like, just stop lying to myself. I really don't like coffee. Well, I shouldn't say that. I do. I enjoy it like as a treat once in a while or like with a cigar, like a good cup of coffee with a cigar. But I'm a high anxiety person and I get like anxiety in the morning. So in the mornings, um, I don't even drink like caffeine. I have a vitamin B12 shot that has a little bit of caffeine in it, but I get like jittery and shit. Then I'll fucking put away 230 milligrams in one drink. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I should probably put that down and switch to water. Oh, he's 5'9". All right. You're the same height as me. You get down to 155. Dude, I was 155 pounds in the 5th grade. Brandy said she's 5'3". That's probably what my wife is. I think my wife's like 5'2" or 5'3". Paco said all you have to do is be in a calorie deficit. 100%. There's no two ways about it. Like these people, you see, like these Instagram, like this body positivity movement bullshit, and everyone on there has some medical issue they can't lose weight. I'm like, I know I got like flagged a bunch of times for inappropriate comments, but I'm like, listen, I don't give a fuck who you are. If you eat less calories than you're taking in, or wait, it's getting late. If you take in less calories than you burn, you're going to lose weight. Like if you just stop eating, you're going to tell me your medical issue is going to prevent you from starving to death? I don't think so. Like sooner or later, you will start losing weight. You just got to stay away from the Krispy Kreme. and fucking get your ass to work. Andrew said he likes his double sometimes. That's if I'm gonna get a coffee, I get a Tim Hortons double. But I'll switch out the sugar for stevia. He tried black coffee and I don't like it. I still drink a double. And I went back to try it again and I'm hooked on black coffee. See, I don't know. Maybe I'll try it again, but I don't drink it enough to really make a difference. Like I'm not a daily coffee drinker. We don't even have a coffee pot, which really pisses my dad off when he comes over here. He's old school, like every house has to have a coffee pot, and I guess we should for other people. At least like get a Keurig. I'm like, well, buy me a Keurig, and then when you come over, you can have a coffee. Brandy said she's all for body positivity. I hate when people want to diss others on what they can and can't wear. No, I don't give a fuck about body positivity. That's fine, but the fact of the matter is, like my thing with it is, it went from like big is beautiful, which is fine. I don't like everyone likes a girl with a little meat on her bones or a dude or whatever to it's it's not unhealthy. When the fact of the matter is it absolutely is unhealthy. Paku said I can't lose weight at the moment. I'm putting too much muscle on. I'm getting so fucking strong. I bet, bro. That video you sent of you hitting the bag looked fucking legit. You were getting after it, son. I just think it's messed up when people make up excuses for being out of shape instead of calling it how it is. 100%. And everyone, has a reason. If you want to be, and at the end of the day, they're just saying it to make themselves feel better. Everyone wants to look the best they can look. Like I understand that, or they should understand that. Also, you just feel better when you're healthy. It's not you don't just look better, you feel better. Your mind is in a better place. You're more active. You're just a better version of yourself. Holidays, dude. I use holidays fucked me up. I'll be on like such a good roll, and then Christmas will come and my wife is Italian and she is a like healthy lifestyle sabotager. She knows the shit I like and she'll fucking go after it. On my birthday was last week and I love baklava and I love cheesecake and she found baklava cheesecake. Like, bro, I'm gonna eat that whole fucking thing. Like she's like, "Oh, I know you're trying to be healthy or whatever, but I just made a whole tray of lasagna with some garlic bread and cheese and fuck." I'm like, "Oh, thanks." Like Italians, they show their love by cooking. So that's the other thing too. Then if I don't eat the stuff, it's like offensive. But and who's not gonna eat it? Tell me you're not gonna eat some fucking lasagna with cheesy garlic bread and shit? It just sucks. I'll go put in like a hard 2 hours at the gym, sparring my ass off, go hit the sauna after, come home, like, you know what? I'll have some broccoli, maybe some chicken, and there's like pancakes. I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm definitely gonna eat these fucking pancakes. She said, joking. Eric's not that sweet. He's like dark chocolate. He's healthy, not sweet. Yeah, that's my problem too. I'm a night owl, but I don't have work tomorrow, so that's why I'm up late. I actually, um, when from the time I was born till she passed when I was 12 years old, my grandmother, my mother's mother, lived with us. We lived in a double. We lived downstairs and she lived upstairs, and she was a night owl. Like she would wake up at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and she would be up till 6 o'clock in the morning. And in the summers, I would spend my summers like upstairs in her apartment, and we would watch like westerns, and she would make me like scrambled eggs at 1 o'clock in the morning. We would watch like vampire movies and stuff. I love my Bachi. She was awesome. But she that like made me a night owl. Like I have to get up early in the morning for work, but when I don't, like Friday nights I'm exhausted from working and the week. But then Saturdays I can stay up till 4 a.m. like no problem. Like after one day of being off my work schedule, I automatically revert right back to being a night owl. Brandy likes her coffee like she likes her men. Light and sweet, enough to give me diabetes. That's good. My thing is I'll stick to the diet for a couple weeks solid, then cheat day hits and I go overboard. So what I found works best for me is intermittent fasting. I don't do it to lose weight now. I maintain with it. I need to ramp it up. Like if I want to lose weight, I'll go to like the small meals all throughout the day and eat less. But what I do now is because I know that my wife isn't like she's an amazing cook and I'm gonna eat that shit. So instead of like it's nothing, I can go to work all day and go to practice fasted and it doesn't bother me. Like I don't get a headache or anything. But then I'll end up eating 2,500 calories from the time I get home to an hour or two before bed. So I fasted all day, but I'm still taking in like my maintenance amount of calories. So I don't really lose weight. Like guys, and I don't eat lunch at work. So guys are like, how come you're not like fucking 90 pounds? You never eat. And they're like, and then like I have a physical job. They're like, and then you go fucking train jujitsu and shit. Like, what are you eating at home? I'm like, lasagna, fucking pancakes. Andrew said you should get a coffee maker for the holidays for your family. 100%. We had um Christmas at my house this year and I was like, "Oh shit, we don't have a coffee maker." Yeah, I need to get one of those. And then for Easter, we had Easter over here. So what I did for Easter is I went to Tim Hortons and I got one of those boxes that has like 15 cups of coffee in it. But we were just at Walmart. And I'm like, you know what? We'll fuck it. I'll get a Keurig. I went over there, and the Keurig was like $80, and I had two new lights for my studio and a stand for my computer, and like $200 worth of bullshit. And I'm like, yeah, I'll put that Keurig back. I'll get another light. Yeah, I love garlic bread too. That's the shit. Paku said, I'm keen. Yeah, I'm keen. I'm keen, mate. He's keen for the upcoming videos, especially the jiu-jitsu and judo breakdowns. Fuck yeah, dude. I like when you use the correct terminology for the positions. Uchimatas. Bro, so hell yeah. I'm gonna start calling arm triangles katakatamis. I'll be like John Danaher over here. I'll always be talking Japanese. But I think, I don't know, if you pull off an arm triangle, it just sounds so much cooler if you're like, yeah, I finished the fight. I didn't know Soto Gari. Right down, I transitioned right into a katakatami and finished him with it. Or Juji Katami is an arm bar. My brother and I do it and fail all the time. What what was that? What'd you fail at, Andrew? IF works it works great for me too. It's just harder to maintain with the family because yeah, 100 I wouldn't be able to do intermittent fasting if I was at home because I'm surrounded by food all the time. So, um and during the week, I wake up, I give myself 5 minutes to get ready in the morning. I literally wake up like 10 minutes later, I'm out the door. I come home, I grab my jujitsu bag, I pet my dog, kiss the wife, say hi to the kid, and I'm right out the door to jujitsu. And then, so I'm not even home till like 9 o'clock at night. So it works. I'm just constantly on the go. I just pound water all day. And I don't, the, I get super hungry on like Wednesdays. I have like an hour and a half between the time I get home to the time I have to leave for practice. And like that's when I get super hungry. I can like smell the cooking and all that shit. As soon as I get in my car and start driving, I forget about it. And I don't get like lightheaded or feel weird. In fact, I cannot train like with any food in my stomach at all. Like I'm so used to training on an empty stomach now, like even like a couple eggs. If I had like 2 eggs and a English muffin, I feel like I'm gonna puke. The only reason I know the names is because um my judo sensei is like a legit, like we learn Kodokan judo. A lot of jujitsu academies will just show you some throws, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, we do we do judo," and they'll just like show you a couple throws. But I'm fortunate enough to train at a place that has a coral belt teaching judo, and he promotes you. And judo is much more traditional than jujitsu. Like they follow, there's a lot of tradition in it. You got to know the names of shit, and they test you on it and ask you like what the stuff is. And and he tells us, he's like, I know it's just it's a jujitsu academy and I'm just teaching judo, but if you want to be ranked and you know call yourself a brown belt um under him, you got to know the terminology, so that's why I like it. And John Donner has a great point. The stuff already has a name. You don't need to. I mean, it's cool and it's easier to for Americans, I guess, to remember like the goofy names that they make up at 10th Planet and stuff. Like whatever they could, like Raw Dog and fucking whatever, like the Odyssey position and all the weird names they have. But the other thing too with Japanese is it's so different from English that there's no, like, you have to learn it. You can't like they're not similar at all. Like there's no like, oh yeah, that's kind of like, you know, I don't know. Like there's no, like, even like English and Spanish, it all comes from Latin, so there's like some similarity. There's no fucking similarities in Japanese. The only thing that's similar is Tomonagi is the stomach throw, they call it. That's basically, it's like when you put your foot in somebody's stomach and throw them over your head and you end up in mount. That's Tomonagi. And I remember that it's stomach throw, and Tome is kind of like tummy. So that's like, but besides that, like Osotogari and Ogoshi and Harayagoshi and all that shit is just, you just got to know it. Yoko Tomoe, all that good shit. Eric said his smoker's right outside the door of his office. I'm gonna be smelling brisket for the next week. Yeah, dude, could you imagine like doing that and then being 18 hours into a fast and you got the sweet brisket smell wafting into your studio? Awesome, bro. I'm glad I could help. So I also have really bad anxiety all the time. I think it's something I was born with. When I was a little kid, I would um I would worry about crazy shit. Like when I was a little kid, I would worry about aliens because remember I was telling you about my grandma. One of the movies we watched was Fire in the Sky. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's uh, the actual account of, I forget the guy's name, but it's a really famous account of an alien abduction that happened. And in the movie, they hold him down and they get this machine and they hold his eye open. They stick a needle in his eye, and I watched that shit, and I would have crippling anxiety about that. I would have anxiety in 1997. Osama bin Laden bombed embassies in Africa, and they did like a show on whatever the nightly news was. And like Dan Rather actually went over there and talked to Osama bin Laden. And I remember Osama bin Laden's like, I'm bringing this to America. I'm going to attack you. So when I was a kid, I remember telling my parents about Al Qaeda and how these people want to attack America and, you know, all this shit. And specifically remember being sick to my stomach one night, worried about this. And then I got older, I got over it, and then it fucking happened on September 11th. And I'm like, I told you, and it like justified all my worrying and anxiety. And now I have crippling anxiety about, well, I shouldn't say it's crippling, but I get bad anxiety about the same, about shit that adults worry about my bills and, you know, everything else. So I know what it's like to deal with anxiety, and it's nice to have something that takes your mind off it, That's the best thing I found to deal with anxiety, honestly, is finding like good people to surround yourself with. Like you don't need a lot. You just need like two, one, just someone who will give you good advice and has their life in order too, that you can talk to, and praying, bro. Like I don't know what your beliefs are as far as your higher, it doesn't, whatever, but not to get too far out there, but there's this all wasn't just an accident. There's something else out there, and praying helps. And Paku's a good dude. UFC casual got in here, and we're all freaking talking about praying and anxiety. He's probably like, bro, I came here for the Max Holloway talk. What the fuck? I can step in the ring with the top 5 boxer in Australia with no anxiety at all. But give me a job interview or some paperwork, and I stress the fuck out. Isn't that how it works? But training also helps too. Like I try to tell myself all the time, like whatever I'm going to deal with at work probably isn't going to be as bad as Professor Brian's neon belly, or when he transitioned and puts his fucking knee on my throat. He said, what's Raw Dog? Raw Dog is a position that 10th Planet made up. There's Raw Dog. Crazy Dog is another one. Crazy Dog is a half guard. It's a half guard position. Top half guard, where you lace your arm through the legs, which it makes you susceptible to what we call a John Wayne sweep. But the way that they do it is they lace their arm through the legs in top half guard, and then they put all their shoulder pressure on their legs. Then you flatten your ass out like on the ground. And I'll have to ask one of the guys I train with at a different gym. He's all about that position, Crazy Dog. I'm gonna have to ask him this week why they call it Crazy Dog. But the guys at 10th Planet and Eddie Bravo, just like Eddie Bravo decided that he was going to take off the gi and just train no gi jiu-jitsu. Everyone in the United States thinks that he like came up with the idea, but they were doing this for years and years and years before that in Brazil. They just called it luta livre, and it's just no gi. It's jiu-jitsu. It's submission grappling without a gi. So Eddie Bravo was like, well, since I came up with the idea of training no gi, he really doesn't think that, but this is anyway. He's like, since I came up with, I'm the only guy in America training just no-gi and promoting people in just no-gi. So I'm going to also change the names and just make up my own crazy names for this shit. Like, why not? So, and the Brazilians do it too. Like all the moves that we do in jiu-jitsu already have Japanese names because they all already exist in judo. Like even leg locks and shit. All like ashigarami, all that shit. It's all from judo. Jiu-jitsu is just newaza. That's all jiu-jitsu is. It's just the ground game of judo. But the Brazilians come up with their own names, like the Kimura. That's Juji or not Jujigatami. That's some other kind of whatever whatever crook it is in Japanese. That and then katami because it's armbar. So a Kimura is just a crooked armbar. The reason they call it Kimura is because the guy Kimura, the judoka, used it to break Elio Gracie's arm in a match in the 30s. So instead of saying that they broke his arm with katakatame, they say, oh, well, they broke his arm with a whatever, and they called it Kimura. The same position has been around forever in catch wrestling that was developed in England and shit, and they call it a double wrist lock. So all this shit's been around forever. So I understand why people want to keep like the tradition of the Japanese name, but the Japanese didn't invent this shit. The Greeks and Romans were doing this stuff 3,000 years ago. Like there's illustrations of pancration fighters doing ashigarami leg locks on each other like 2,800 years ago. I'm just going to catch up on the chat here. Casual said, back in the day, we were anxious about predators and shit, and now it's bills and shit. Yeah, exactly. That's why little kids are afraid of monsters. It's not an irrational fear. It's because 1,000 years, or however long ago, we would literally be eaten by monsters. If you were a little kid and you strayed too far from the group, a fucking tiger would eat your ass, or they would come into your village at night and take a kid. That's why little kids are afraid of monsters, Paku said, I'm going to head out. Great stream. Awesome. Thanks for coming in, Paku. We've been going here for an hour. I went for an hour on the last one, so unless anyone has any questions or anything they want to talk about, I'll probably end it too. It's it's fucking almost 2:00 in the morning where I am. I need to get my ass to bed. The wife has work in the morning and I don't. But all right, guys. Well, I'm glad you came in for the maiden voyage on my new setup here, my new professional setup that Eric has helped me with. So I appreciate it so much. We had a good chat, and keep an eye out for some videos that we're going to drop this week. I'll probably do another live stream this week too. So until next time, go Bills.